Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the end of week one for the Hyperion Cup. This is Marks alongside my best bud, Spooky, just onto my right side there. Sorry, I turned my head the wrong way. But Spooky, we've got Frostnova up against Kaiju Core Clover.
Yeah, that we do, Marks. I'm excited. We haven't seen anything from either of these teams yet. Obviously, it's week one. This is going to be their first game, but it's nice. It's their first game, and it gives them a chance to kind of define their season, for lack of a better term. They decide how they want to start out here, and one of these teams are going to go up into that 1-0. Well, unfortunately, the other is going to have a 0% win rate, but it's only match one.
Way to just load in the confidence for these two teams. But first up, we've got Kaiju Core Clover. They're a fairly new team, especially in this whole Hyperion Cup situation. April 2020, but of course, a lot of really interesting people coming over here, namely Greg, reformed Roadhog One Trick with 4,000 hours in Counter-Strike Go. Usually you don't see players from Counter-Strike Go to Overwatch, but hey, if he's good on Roadhog, I don't know what the heck is going on here, Spooky.
He's on the hit scan now. He's a DPS player, so let's see if those 4,000 hours actually do translate over. And otherwise, we might have to be like, is it really 4,000? They're just saying that.
Could be questioned that one just a little bit, but depending on
got high hopes for Greg here.
No pressure, Greg. But of course, now we have Frostnova. Actually, Frostnova has gone up against Hyperion on a couple of times. Actually, their last game, they were taken to map number 5. So skill-wise, they do match Hyperion pretty well here.
Yeah, and I've made top 3 in every tournament they have participated in. So just based off a couple of these notes here, you could even say Frostnova is potentially the favorite coming in, seeming to be a little bit more of an established team, having good results so far. But again, we haven't seen them play yet. So obviously, it's hard to say exactly who is going to come on top or even predict at all. So there's really not that much we can say here about the teams yet, Marks. We have to see them play, and I think we are about to go into Lijiang Tower to do just that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, week 1, the slate is nice, fresh, spanking clean. And so this is where the teams get to really start to establish their roots. Obviously, these teams have been practicing with each other for varying periods of time. And you know what? Let's see how this actually fares out. Frost Nova, like I said, they've been around for a little bit longer compared to Kaiju, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be better or worse than Kaiju. I'm kind of hoping that Kaiju comes out and surprises everyone here tonight because personally, I don't know almost anything about the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just excited to see them play. So starting off on Lijiang Tower here, Marks, we're just getting the R's in chat as we get down to business. But starting Lijiang Tower, what do you think you want to see? Do you want to see maybe some of the tried and true meta comps, you know, double bubble maybe, rush, whatever? Or do you want to see some of those classic Lijiang Tower strats and break out the sim? Or just something nuts?
I'm not gonna lie, I am always a fan of sim when it comes to Lijiang Tower. I know, I think I just heard a bunch of people curse my name as soon as I said that out loud. But regardless, I think Symmetra is a very powerful hero choice on this map, especially on Night Market. Being able to teleport your team in so quickly, especially too if you're playing something a little bit more rush, it's absolutely devastating.
The thing with control, you know, all the maps are or all the points are so close to the spawn that teleporter does get a little stronger, even if you're not in Night Market. I mean, I've seen Sim run on every single point of Lijiang to a pretty strong effect. So I'm excited to see if they'll break it out, but I'd have to say this point in particular is probably the worst one for it, so I'm not surprised to see that they haven't quite committed to it, though we do see Scaro. Looking at it, probably just for that teleport out of spawn, assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. We usually see a lot of Pharas on this map, and that's usually just because there's so much open space. But Spooky, what can you tell me about some of these differing comps that are coming out here?
Not too different, actually. We do see the Pharas, like you said, both Phara Mercies. So a lot of the fight's going to be in the sky. The only real difference is that Ball versus the Winston. Winston a little bit more staying power, Ball more mobility and escape tools. So we'll see if either team can actually leverage that, aside from that sky battle.
And we can see the action is kind of popping up here. Browns fan Jr. felt a little bit too low, able to escape there. We're seeing the complete dive go in onto Lewis, but thankfully Aiden is there to move back and shield their team. But now, it's going to be a battle on this. There's a lot of pressure coming in the back from Greg. Not necessarily on that road anymore, but as soon as the start coming through, it's something like Kaiju Corp should have a pretty good hold on this cannon. Just bursting in so much damage, able to get that D-Mech. We're going to be seeing a res come online for Lewis to try and give them a little bit more staying power here. Let's see if it's enough. Kaiju Corp still rolling around on this plate. Trade's going back and forth. There's no clear decisive winner of this team fight right now. The point has been unlocked, but actually, that's going to be... Sorry, Frost Nova have actually captured this point right now, so they've just been gaining percentage this entire time, even though Kaiju Corp finally went out that first team fight.
Yeah, Kaiju Corp's take it in the end, but Frost Nova, despite... They were never really in a winning position. This was not a fight they had... an advantage in and then lost, but they did cap the point, and despite losing the fight, they do get that 31%, which is crucial. That is a pretty solid boop coming out, but looks like everyone got away from it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Boop's the only two members that can fly their way back on the point. Winston's leap does in fact work even in the air. Aiden, a little bit of a drink down there, but right now, Valkyrie is online as well as the Nano Boost, just completely focusing things onto Glitch. Barrow falling extremely low, has to back up there, but that's dueling Pulse Bomb kills. Going on to the main tanks right now. Still, Kaiju Corp, they're holding on to the point. They've pressured back Frost Nova and completely stopped their advance here, Spooky.
Yeah, and once you kill the Winston, like, who can stand on point anymore, Marks? You really don't have the staying power, especially, you know, the Tracer, the Pharah. These are not heroes that can just stand there and cap. You have to win the fights with these compositions before you can actually flip the point.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to be seeing the self-destruct come into the back line. Felix just moving in. They're going to go for the rematch kill. It's actually Ricey who comes up huge, using the barrage, finding supports, for Kaiju Corp, and now Frost Nova look like they should be able to swing this point over, as they're just going to be rocking the rest of the remaining members on this point. Ricey still putting in so much damage, already back to 28% of the ultimate charge. Now we see Kaiju Corp coming in here trying to stall this out, but it's all for naught, as finally Frost Nova are able to turn this one back around.
Cannon gets 2 at the very end there, and one of them is Lewis, who is going to have a very hard time getting back to the point quickly. This might be an opportunity for Kaiju to take some positioning and maybe get aggressive before the Ana can get back into the fight.
Yeah, and now Glitch, come on, I want to see it. Oh, he misses the grappling hook there now. Luke is going to be a little bit wiser for it, but the dive is coming through. Luke's finally putting it down. We'll take that as a consolation prize here. Glitch got the mines online as well, so it's going to be an excellent tool if they do decide to throw that on there. Cannon using the barrage able to take out the main tank right now, but still flying around here, as once again, it looks like Kaiju Corp are going to be flipping this one around. They're really close to winning this first point.
Pretty clean. Harassing the Ana as she comes back in is a good play from Glitch, even if you don't get the flashy play out of it. And now suddenly, you know, Kaiju have everything they need to hold on to this point. They have a better ultimate bank as Glitch goes in with the nano, and just looking fantastic for them.
Glitch denied that res right there, making it just so much more winnable right now for Kaiju. They're just running around on point. Lewis trying to fight a Tracer 1v1. Greg making those Counter-Strike skills come alive. And Kaiju Corp, they've taken this all the way to 99%. The overtime leak is going to be burning down here, as they're going to be capping out point number 1.
And Kaiju look good, Marks. Again, it's one map to really say, so you can't, you know, it's not the biggest sample size, but they do look good. You know, they take aggressive positioning, they take fights very quickly, and they push their advantages. You know, they make the calm that potentially Lewis is coming back late on the Ana, and Glitch is there to get that almost spawn kill, or at least pseudo spawn kill. And then again, you know, when they know it's last fight territory, they take the fight to Frost Nova, and they keep them from actually, you know, they have to go through Kaiju before they can even touch the point, which they have to do. It's a lot of good plays, a lot of good decision making coming out from Kaiju. I like to see it. I'd like to, let's see if it continues moving forward into Control Center.
And here we go. We're seeing the Symmetrus come in. Love to see it. Going to be seeing dueling things now just in this top room up here. The turrets are doing in a lot of work, but of course, let's see where the picks are going to be coming through first. Kaiju Corp delivering a lot of damage. Greg just beaming people down. Supercharged Symmetra Beam is always terrible to be on the end of, but it's still all for naught right now. These Reinhardts are doing a great job of building up their shields. Same with the Divas right now, but as Scar falls down, suddenly this is looking like it should be Kaiju Corp winning out this battle. The amplification matrices for both of these teams has already been charged up, and now they're just in both damage and heroes right now. Even trying to make the hero play, but it's not going to be enough as you're against an entire team, and that's going to be a little bit rough. Okay, Camo Dozer has charged up. The sound barrier is going to let that one loose, but Glitch is just going to be rolling through onto Lewis. All of these ultimates coming online just after a single team fight in Kaiju Corp. They're going to be the first ones to cap this one up.
Yeah, the sound barrier coming in a little late. It doesn't quite save the team, but it does force out some ultimates from Kaiju. You know, the Riptire comes out, the Shatter comes out. I don't think they needed those to win, but at least you get them out by using the sound barrier. And now, with the tire coming in, it doesn't seem to matter because Cannon on the other side has already gotten a couple picks. The tire's wasted, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a little bit too sad, but I'm not calling Junkrat diff, but Cannon made that one a completely shot opportunity there for Frost Nova. Now, they're going to be taking this aggressive angle. Kaiju Corp don't even want them to walk through the doors there, and it's such a great angle to hold, especially when you have a Reinhardt and an Amplification Matrix. Okay, let the grenades rain. Cannon just cannoning those grenades in, and you can just see Frost Nova is like, no, it's not going to go through that area, as Glitch finds the Fire Strike kill onto Ricey, giving them even less firepower before they can even commit to this.
Yeah, more aggression, more good positioning coming out from Kaiju, but it might come back to bite them as Scarrow is coming up with this Photon Barrier. It could split the team down and just give Frost Nova a good opportunity to get back in here.
Yeah, the Self-Destruct is going to be going into the back there. It's all turning up Kaiju Corp right now. This is looking like it's a very precarious situation for Frost Nova. They haven't even gotten a single percentage yet.
Yeah, and they can't even get to a position where they want to engage. It's just they're playing a little bit slower than Kaiju is right now. Kaiju are forcing these ultimates that aren't that impactful to do the job for them just by following up on it with super aggressive strategies.
Yeah, now we can see all of the ultimates coming online. Frostnova having to pop everything just to make their way back onto point, but Browns fan Jr. almost falling down. But let's see how this fight's going. The trades are going back and forth between these two teams right now. Those are going to be falling out. Aiden getting demected. It's not looking too good for Frostnova. It's overtime right now. Ricey, desperation, Riptire, able to find Coco, but it's not going to be enough, as that's going to be Kaiju Core getting a pretty decisive win on Lijiang Tower, Spooky.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ricey, you know, the Riptire doesn't count as a body on point. It doesn't it doesn't restart that overtime wick. So you get the consolation prize at the end with that little kill, but it doesn't keep you in the game. And so far, this seems like a difference in just the tempo and speed at which the teams play, Marks. Frostnova does not seem like they're quite ready to match how Kaiju want to come in. You know, they're taking super aggressive fights. They're pretty solidly on Frostnova's side of the map when they're engaging, and they're using their ultimates incredibly well as well. You know, just throwing in the bomb, then using that almost not really as a tool to get kills, but a tool to get their Reinhardt in position. As you know, all of Frostnova are just scattering, trying to get into cover from the bomb, and then Glitch just comes in with the hammer. He takes no damage pushing in, and he gets a bunch of damage out of it. So it's very good use of their ultimates here that is letting them take all these aggressive fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just see the desperation coming in from Frostnova, especially too on that second point. You know, they had to pop their ultimates just to even contest the point a little bit. And like you said, Kaiju has been doing a great job of cycling those ultimates. And, you know, as soon as they were even able to make their way onto point, Kaiju had their ultimates in their pocket to just pull out to make sure that they couldn't even contest the point. And at that point, Frostnova, it looks like they were just scrambling, Spooky.
Really did. So I'm hoping to see if they can come up with something different for us in Dorado. You know, Control is a very quick map type. You don't have a lot of time to breathe. You don't have a lot of time to think. So it is a little difficult for Frostnova, you know, to actually be like, hey, let's try and reset our strategy for a minute here. You don't have that time to like talk to each other really, because you have to get on point. You're losing percentage. So I'm hoping Frostnova can, between maps, kind of figure out what went wrong and figure out a way to punish Kaiju's aggressive attacks. Otherwise, we might have a quick 3-0 in favor of Kaiju.
I mean, hey, you know, when we opened this up, we said that Kaiju we don't know anything about them. And, well, now the ghost has kind of unveiled itself. It's at the form of a giant screaming monster, apparently. But, of course, like you said, it's only my map one here, Dorado. This is a pure escort map. And, Spooky, what can you tell us about Dorado?
Dorado's interesting, Marks. Each point is kind of its own little map in that the first is kind of a mix of high ground and that flat bit at the end, which kind of favors, you know, the dive and the rush, respectively. Then the second point is all high ground dominated. You'll see a lot of Winston Diva played there. You might even see the Pharah break out again. Then again, that third point, where it is very much, you know, a Reinhardt map. It's a lot harder to get the dive to work there. Neither of these teams want to see the third point. I'll go ahead and tell you that, Marks. So potentially, whichever team has the stronger dive, maybe some more Pharah play, they might come out strong, you know, taking those first 2 points pretty easily. And, you know, you could have the best Reinhardt in the game, but if you never push far enough to get to that point 3, it's not going to do too much for you, especially with all the high ground that Dorado has.
Yeah, I've played Reinhardt on Dorado multiple times, and even just that first little bit, you know, you're taking fire from up above, you're taking fire from over here, you're taking fire from over there with people flying around above you, and you're just kind of holding your shield like, man, it'd be really neat if they were in front of me so I could hit them with my hammer, but all right, I guess I'm just going to be hanging out here. So you're right, Dorado, a lot of really high ground options here, but obviously I'm hoping both of these teams are able to make it to that point number 3, because I feel like whenever we have an escort map, that third point is always where the most action goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you know, I can't really say which of these teams have favored certain comps. They both broke out with a kind of dive on the first point of Lijiang Tower, then going to a more standard rush comp for that second. But again, Lijiang does kind of force those kind of compositions. It's pretty clear that some comps are better than others, especially Control Center. If you're not playing some kind of rush style, you're probably going to get blown out of the water. So again, not too much to say about preferences for these teams yet. They haven't tried to force anything. They've been flexible, and I like to see that. So I'm hoping we'll see more adaptions come out to kind of make up for Dorado's specific architecture.
Absolutely. And you know what? I just want to mention here, Greg, the man with 4,000 hours in Counter-Strike, actually wasn't playing a hit scan for most of that. We saw him on the Tracer, and honestly, still doing a pretty damn good job, despite the fact that in Counter-Strike Go, despite common belief, you can't zip and zap all over the map very quickly.
He played the Tracer, he played the Symmetra, you get some of that tracking hit scan, but not the true standard that you might see with the Ashe, with the Cowboy. But Dorado does favor those long-range hit scans a little bit more. Maybe we've finally unleashed Greg, and we get to see exactly what he can do.
Kaiju, Greg Unleashed. I think that's kind of the name of what happened there. But of course, I want to see more of what Greg can do because he's showing us that he can work with those tracking heroes. But I'm still yet to be impressed on that hit scan ability. I wonder if he can hear us right now. And if he does, then Greg, we're ready for it, especially with these high angles. Really favoring that hit scan roll, I'm just saying. But of course, it depends on how Kaiju want to be playing this one out. Right, Spooky?
Yeah, absolutely. And it does look like we have a swap in here for Frost Nova. It looks like it's Florida in for Browns fans Jr. So Browns going out, Florida coming in. We've got, I believe Florida's back in the main tank role. So potentially, a new main tank. Maybe now we'll see more of maybe a Winston, a more comfortable Winston, maybe a Ball, something that could really take advantage of the high ground.
Yeah, well, we're going to be loading in here now, so let's see what these two teams want to be rolling out. Will Kaiju continue to push their dominance over Frost Nova, or are Frost Nova going to be starting to swing this back in their favor? Well, only time will tell, as it looks like we are going to be starting out here with Frost Nova on the defense.
So I was excited to potentially see Kaiju on the defense first, just because of how they played the last map, very, very aggressive defenses. And I was hoping to see if they would continue to do that. We'll see them eventually, Yeah, every team gets their defense, every team gets their offense. So let's see if Frost Nova can kind of stop the momentum right here, right now, try and get one of those point A holds, as they're coming out on one of this kind of the six-man comp, where each team or each member of the team is kind of forcing their way, diving forward with very quick cooldown abilities, trying to just move together almost like a battering ram and just run over the opponent.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes now. It looks like that they are favoring that dive composition. Scarrow, though, on this Reaper, you want to play nice and close for that. If Greg is coming out on the Tracer and Ken on the Echo, it'd be a little bit difficult to try and contest those heroes. Don't you think, Spooky?
Yeah, they really don't have anyone here for Frost Nova that can contest that Echo, so they're really going to have to run over the rest of the team on the ground and not let the Echo get too much value. But we'll see how it goes here. It looks like Frost Nova are trying to figure out exactly when they want to engage, waiting for these hacks to come in before they push forward.
Scarrow opening that up onto the Ana in the back line is a great way for Frost Nova to make this happen, especially too getting the pick onto Glitch. Choosing to just ignore the aerial units because they just run over their front line here, as Frost Nova are going to be holding this one nice and firmly for now.
Yeah, and already Kaiju are going for some swaps, giving them a little bit more aggressive pressure with the McCree, with the Reinhardt. Members that aren't so easy to burst down, and if you get close to the Cowboy, he's gonna break out the flashbang, so you always have to watch out for that. And they make the whole switch over to the standard rush comp here with the Mei as well. So it's definitely, they're gonna be setting themselves up on the point, and it's gonna be a little bit harder for Frost Nova to actually get in and find a hack and a kill.
Yeah, especially with Florida falling down immediately. Ricey, right now, the hero that Frost Nova needs, using those hacks as well as just using that little submachine gun to take people out, as once again, Frost Nova are sending Kaiju back to their spawn with an exit kill onto Cannon. completely stopped that momentum that Kaiju had started to gather there.
Yeah, super aggressive coming out from Ricey. And he's been building the CMP incredibly quickly, Marks. Almost matching Cabodozer on the Moira, who you'd expect to have a Coalescence. Pretty much every fight, he's coming out with the EMP. And Rush Comp stacks together, Marks, and you can see it as the 5-man comes out. And look at that.
It's beautiful. Spooky. I don't think there's anything better that I could have just witnessed right there. It was the perfect all combination of Ricey using the EMP and then Scarrow just coming in there, letting that Death Blossom rip and finding so many kills.
Yeah, it's a good 2-man combo. You make sure you get value out of the Death Blossom, and that's one of the problems with switching over to this Rush comp, is you really can't get around the EMP. Your entire playstyle is sticking together, so it's going to be tough. Now, Frostnova are trying to keep these advantages going with this Coalescence.
Yeah, but hey, it's a Deadeye that comes through from Greg. Doesn't need to aim for that one. Able to find 2, shutting down the complete support line of Frostnova, and that's going to be the one that's going to crumble the entire castle as Kaiju Corp run this one forwards.
See Kaiju Corp pushing up again. They only leave one person on the cart as they push forward, try and once again take one of these aggressive defenses. They have a lot of ults to work with. So it's going to take some heroics coming out from Frostnova to actually make this one work.
Well, hey, heroics are what are coming through here, but Aiden able to find the D-Mech there. Now Aiden going back in to push them back. Frostnova looking like they're in charge of this, especially with the pick from Florida onto Felix. Now they're charging forward, they got the Lucio speed, and they're just going to be running them all the way back to the spawn door gates. As Frostnova once again solidifying their defense here.
And starts out with them catching Cannon early. And I think that is because of these aggressive pushes from Kaiju. You know, Cannon might have been caught out on his own on that Reaper, maybe getting hacked up, and then can't Wraith form away. And then it's a 5v6 when all the advantages were to Kaiju. They fell without using their ultimates, however, other than the Amplification Matrix. They still have the ult advantage, but this is their last chance.
That is going to be coming out from Greg. Doesn't find anybody, but he's just going to get the normal kill onto Florida. Meanwhile, Greg trying to keep this one alive, but it's a huge EMP again. That's 5 members, and once again, a Death Blossom comes in a suit as Scarrow just whips them up. We're seeing the sound barrier come online, keeping Kaiju Core just a little bit alive longer. Now, the stall is going to be coming through here. They're right at point number 1, but we are into overtime. Cannon using the Death Blossom, but it's going to be met with Florida's primal rage, keeping away from the cart as much as they can. They're trying to take on the glitch. It's going to be an excellent way to make this defense hold. Now, only a couple of members remain. Going to be coming in here. They got to put them in, but it's just up to Florida, and as soon as Florida falls down, well, this should be going towards Kaiju, but the stallers from Frostnova continue to come out to make this fight drag out even longer, but finally Kaiju, they're able to get point number 1.
That's a scary fight for Kaiju. And once again, I have to highlight Ricey on this Sombra. You know, we're laying down the EMP that almost let them stop them there at the end of point A, already up to another one, Marks. Ricey's been doing so much, the manual hacks, the EMP placement, and just charging them up incredibly quickly. Ricey's making it very difficult for Kaiju to actually get value here. And once again, we see the entire composition change to it contest the high ground a little bit more easily.
A little bit of a cheeky play onto that Reaper right there. Felix falling extremely low, going to be backing off Kaiju. They got to be careful right now. They got to respect the space that Frostnova want to take, because when Frostnova comes in, they're going to be freezing you in your place. As once again, they've completely pushed Kaiju right back to the spawn doors on point number 2 now.
Yeah, Frostnova once again holding on. And this is making me question a little bit about if Kaiju's adaptability almost. They're switching compositions too quickly for my tastes, Marks. You know, they don't have a lot of time to build up ultimates. And it's starting to show. They're finally getting up to the new ones on this composition, but they're all hacked. And I think this is going to be another fight win for Frostnova.
Yeah, another 5-man EMP coming out from Ricey, and well, Frostnova, they're going to be using that one strongly. Somehow, Kaiju were able to hold on to it, but the picks are starting to come through right now for Frost Nova. We're seeing the Nano get committed onto the Wrecking Ball. Glitch trying to make this one work. He's got the mines as well, as what should have been a very winnable fight for Frost Nova. Kaiju, they somehow get that cart a decent amount of distance forwards, as finally they're all taken out.
But it's getting to final fight territory here, Marks. Kaiju do have the ultimates to get away with this one. Almost 5 ultimates online versus just the Death Blossom from Scarrow. No EMP to follow it up. They have every advantage here, but it has to be perfect if they want to move forward to that 3rd point.
Yeah, and with the duplicate in their pocket, let's see if Cannon can make this one work. All eyes are going to be focused here as now there's again another Winston. Scarrow, though, uses the Death Blossom. It'll take out the team's Ana, but that's going to be another hack coming in. Right now, Ricey been doing so much work here, but a self-destruct catches Lewis off guard, and Felix might be the hero that Kaiju need right now, as Felix is just going in there and taking this into their own 2 hands. Able to turn this one around with the support of Greg. Turns out Greg, excellent on the hit scan there. Ash, perfect. And that is probably going to be point number 2 for Kaiju.
Yeah, they managed to get it. They throw everything at it, though, Marks. And it looks like we're going to see another swap coming out from Kaiju. At the least, they don't have any ultimates they'll be swapping out of as they move over to more of a rush composition. Like we were talking about before the game. He gets point 3, you break out the Rhine.
Absolutely. Well, let's see how this one goes. It's going to be Rhine into Rhine action.
Yeah, and Ricey is salivating now, you know. He sees them all grouped up. He's so close to the EMP. He's thinking about it. He knows what he can do, and with a minute on the clock, that EMP is going to be nasty.
Absolutely. So close to building up that EMP. Just need a little bit more damage in there. Get that nice 10%, and suddenly it's going to be looking like an easy team fight win. The rush is coming through, though. That was an absolutely huge stun grenade, but it doesn't matter because the coalescence down a little hallway, that's what you'll love to see. You'd also love to see Aiden crunching 2 people under that giant block of metal. You know, didn't even need an EMP for that one. It did get popped in the back line, but that, wow, what a team fight from Frost Nova.
Yeah, it was very flashy. It did a lot. It killed the whole team.
So many
but
lights.
You used a lot of ultimates to do it again. You layered support ults, you used EMP. It gives you strong positioning for this last fight, which it is going to be last fight here. Kaiju cannot leave the point or they will lose the round at least. But you want some of those more ultimates in your pocket to fight this last one. Kaiju are going to have the advantage there.
Ooh, Glitch finding Florida first. It's going to help make this rush competition work just a little bit better. We see GB Rocksaver forever hiding out in the top bar. Great immortality field. Keeps the mech on Felix. Now Greg has the Deadeye as well. The ultimates are starting to turn up for Kaiju, as they might be able to use them to move this momentum forwards here. Really seeing the Death Blossom in the back line scare, trying to make that one happen, but fortunately way too much pressure applied to him. Greg has an amplification matrix in front of him, and he's just going to be using the bullets to just absolutely reign supreme. Ricey has to back off there, going to be escaping away from there, as right now Kaiju look like they should be able to get this point. They're moving in here. An Earthshatter is going to be coming in. Glitch just kind of bullying in the back line right there, but right now the stalls are coming out from Frost Nova. Is it enough? We'll have to see. The Diva is back online, but is going to be demeched almost immediately. Soundbarrier comes online as well, just melting Florida down, and Kaiju, despite hitting overtime so many times, are able to take this the entire way.
Yeah, and I have to point to that fight before the last one there, Marks, when Frost Nova used so many ultimates to stop Kaiju in the hallway. If you had maybe a sound barrier, if you kept the EMP, even the coalescence, we might be seeing Kaiju get stopped just before 3rd point. On the other hand, this was a much closer map so far than we saw in Lijiang Tower. Frost Nova made Kaiju fight every single step of the way, and a lot of that was Ricey building up these EMPs so quickly, getting strong manual hacks off, and good coordination with the team to follow up on pretty much all of those. I don't think there was an EMP that Ricey used that wasn't followed up with a team fight victory. So pretty good coordination coming out from Frost Nova as well. You know, 3 points capped, but every single one were in overtime. Still, they have to get to the end of the map just to get another attempt here. So otherwise they might be going down 0-2 despite what was overall a pretty good team performance, I'd say.
Absolutely. It looked like so many moments there Frost Nova had Kaiju within their grasp, but Unfortunately, not able to take that one, or sorry, stop that one from moving all the way to the end there. I like what you mentioned there. Ricey and Scarrow just doing a great job of coordinating both the EMP and the Death Blossom. And I hope to see more of that this round, but looks like Kaiju are busting out a Sombra and Reaper of their own.
Yeah, we're going to see the mirror now. But so far, Frostnova seem pretty comfortable on this composition. So I want to give the initial edge to them. Let's see exactly how it plays out.
Yeah, Cannon already in the back line got hacked up. That's not what you want to do. Oh, boy, they were expecting that play right there, and it just made it look so bad. But now, this is going to be Frostnova applying a lot of pressure here. That bubble was enough to stop Florida from getting any heals there, so now they're missing a main tank. That might give Cannon enough time to get back into this glitch, falling extremely low as well. But now Aiden going to be the main tank in the front here, trying to deny so much damage from the team getting affected here. Scarrow, meanwhile, wants to get a little bit more aggressive. The Coalescence was good to take out Lewis and also keep the rest of Kaiju alive, but now the respawners advantage might just be a little bit too strong for Kaiju because Frostnova, they're going to be running this one over. Scarrow popping the Death Blossom for good measure, but might have been a little bit too much.
Yeah, don't know if you exactly need the Death Blossom there, but yeah, why not? Throw it on. Just make sure you win the fight. When in doubt, please press Q. It'll win you more games than it'll lose. So
it's true,
I don't mind it. But it is going to be another attack for Kaiju before this first point. And once again, they're pushing aggressively, and it might come back to bite Glitch.
Yeah, Glitch falling extremely low, gonna be escaping from the self-destruct, but there's a Primal Raging Winston in their backline, hitting their support around, pushing them into all sorts of angles, but Greg comes up huge with the Death Blossom, finding both Ricey and Lewis, and now is that squishy Winston target right in front of him. Last but not least, he got a Moira. Alright, we're gonna fade just for good measure here, but that's gonna be another pick. Meanwhile, Scarrow able to find one, but now he's just trying to get out of there, as Greg really came alive to make sure that Kaiju could hold that defense.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's already almost 50% up to that next Death Blossom. I cannot say the same for Cannon, at least in building up the ultimates quickly. Ricey has the EMP, Cannon not really quite that close, only at 70% to the first one, and look, Ricey's already found Cannon out, waiting for his translocator, and it's a little bit of a Sombra chicken, it seems like, as the rest of the team started to engage.
Like playing Sombra hide and seek, or you know, not you were right with chicken. I'll just give that one to you. Great joke, Spooky. But now their teams are going to be engaged. It's going to be a sound barrier coming online from Kaiju, but the EMP was absolutely huge. Now another sound barrier coming on the side of Frostnova, but Frostnova haven't been able to push this in their advantage. Look at how many ultimates right now Kaiju are expending into this fight, and it is swinging it around on them. Initially with the low, not able to have that advantage, but they're making this one work. Greg popping the Death Blossom once again, gets so much value out of these. Greg might be good at Counter-Strike, but also really good at playing Reaper, apparently.
Yeah, once again getting value out of that, and even without Cannon's EMP, like we saw from Ricey and Scarrow, Cannon actually using that, I think only catching Ricey with the last EMP. Unfortunately, the fight was already won, and now the ult bank for Kaiju is demolished, Marks. Luckily for them, Frostnova doesn't have much to work with either, but they will build these up more quickly, and they really need to because they're running out of time.
Yeah, Frostnova now have that self-destruct online, but right now that's about it. Meanwhile, they're choosing their angle on where they want to engage. Aiden getting manual hacked there. Cannon able to make its way out, but the brawl is actually happening on this point. Greg Reaper diffing Scarrow right now. Greg moving in for Aiden next. Sees the giant target, wants to use those shotguns. Put them to good work. We'll be wraithing out of that one just to keep alive. Florida, meanwhile, popped the Primal Rage, but gets taken out. Just too much, but Aiden comes alive with a three-piece self-destruct. Don't see that too often. That might have just saved Frostnova here. As we are going into our overtime right now, we're going to be seeing a Coalescence come online, just trying to keep the rest of Kaiju core nice and healthy. But is it going to be enough? Right now the respawns are coming through. No picks going either way, but Ricey's got this EMP now. Ricey lets the EMP rip, finds all of the members of Kaiju as Scarrow takes out the support. Now, Kaboozer has that Coalescence online, using it to not only be defensive but offensive as well. Scarrow getting the Death Blossom pick, and then also finding Greg, getting a little bit of a Reaper revenge right there on his friend. Now Florida finding Clutch. That's gonna be Frostnova keeping this one alive, at barely alive.
Yeah, and it was all started by that huge bomb from Aiden. At the end of the day, you know, you're trickling in, and you just can't quite get anything done. As soon as they even got all the members there, which was used by the Coalescence into Glitch's Primal Rage, just to stall, the EMP comes out from Ricey. So yeah, you had a little bit of hope, and it just gets snuffed out like a candle or a light bulb with an EMP.
Yeah, I guess electric references would work a little bit better here. Florida right now can't get healed up, but just going to be punching Jay Brocksaver forever. The hack comes through. Florida doesn't even care. Greg finally getting the pick there, but it's already a little bit too late because this is Frostnova just making their presence known, pushing this cart forward. Look at this forward angle that they've taken, Spooky, and right now they're not even being punished for it. They're making this one work.
Yeah, it really works well with their composition, you know. These guys just really want to run over the enemy, and they don't even really need their supports to do so. They've been doing a very strong job. Let's see if yeah, it is Scarrow, can't do much about that. Felix Felicius comes up with 2, and that's going to stall out Frostnova right there. You know, Frostnova may be a little bit too aggressive, at least in the sense that they were split up, they were using their cooldowns, and then suddenly when they really needed those escape tools online, they didn't have them.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a double-edged sword there, and look at this positioning right now that Kaiju has. Under a minute left to make this one work. Greg on this Ashe, been really doing a great job putting those 4,000 hours to work here. It's going to be a self-destruct. Everyone's just going to abandon ship on that top line. Nobody gets picked by that, but it's going to force the positioning of Kaiju off of that high ground. Cannon, meanwhile, gets Lewis. Now they want to find that pick, but thankfully the Diva's there with the defense matrix to make sure that escape happens. But now this is going to be Coalesce is coming online. Greg hacked up with the nano boost, unable to do too much. We're seeing the sound barrier come online for Frostnova as well. But gets put to sleep. What an absolute massive sleep threat. Even though they fell down there, that's going to cancel out the Coalescence. Now Frostnova, they're trying to make this one work, trying to keep the dream alive as we've only got 10 seconds left on this point. The mines have been applied by Glitch, but so far not finding too much value. Glitch now just standing on the point, gonna open himself up for a manual hack, but it looks like Kaiju Core might be able to hold this back right now. We're seeing Florida fall extremely low, but is able to get that Moira heals. Now pressuring, but oh, that's a huge EMP coming out right now, catching 4 members of Frostnova. Kaiju Core, they can end this one right here, right now. Scarrow has something different to say about it though, coming in here, now has a Death Blossom online as well. Let's see if he's going to hold on to this one or going to let it go, but it looks like Frostnova, they're able to use that momentum, and after a really long team fight, are able to capture point number 2, Spooky.
Yeah, and it seems like there are a lot of similarities between these two teams, Marks. You know, both teams ending, you know, capping in overtime. There's not a lot of time left for Frostnova to actually take this one, but Kaiju were able to do it, so they want to prove anything you can do, I can do better. And the ultimates are pretty solidly in their favor. Ricey almost to another EMP despite using that one last fight, and I think continuing a streak of every EMP fight is a win for Frostnova.
Let's see how it goes. We're going to be seeing the Bob come in on point. Greg has had enough, just wants to completely push them backwards, and with JB Rocks forever, it's going to make it happen. We're seeing the self-destruct come online. Greg able to just find a corner there. Now trying to take out this coalescing Moira, but doesn't actually need to do too much there. Okay, finds the exit pick. You always love to see that, but hey, that's Kaiju Core solidly defending this, but if history repeats itself, Frostnova might be able to push this one over.
Yeah, and they honestly have better tools than Kaiju did previously, you know, following up with another one of those patented EMP Death Blossoms coming out from Ricey and Scarrow that can win them the game here. I'm looking at Felicius. Try and dodge the EMP, then eat up the Death Blossom, but I'm not sure it's quite gonna happen here.
Ooh, it's a huge EMP, and Scarrow just runs in once again. Such a deadly combo, making it work. Greg able to punish Scarrow, but unfortunately now that's going to be a huge team kill. We see the Reinhardt stalling things out for as long as possible. We are in an overtime scenario here. Will Frostnova be able to take us to the next round? Kaiju Core getting the respawners ready to go. They've got full momentum, full mobility. Going to be charging in. Felix leading that charge, coming in here to stall things out, contesting up that cart floor to just swinging the hammer. The Riptire is coming in on the backline. Cannon able to see it. Let it go. Finds Kaboozer. That's a lot of healing taken out of this equation right now. Greg in the backline, meanwhile, just being an absolute menace, making them turn left, right, and center. Glitch swinging his hammer around his Kaiju Core. They're able to hold on to that defense and shut out Frostnova, taking our series 2-0, Spooky.
Yeah, and It's a good defense. A good defense coming out at the end there. And I've got to say it was a strong defense from both teams. Pretty much every step of the way, both attacking teams had to work for it. We are going to see Skyro with
it was so good
right
every
at the
time.
end. It was so close. But Greg does manage to pick him out at the end. But he does get that big 4K. And I've got to say, Marks, both teams have had a lot of individual moments. Aiden has had some big bombs. I remember JB Rocks coming up with 2 or 3K a couple of times. But to me, this really feels like the battle between Greg and Ricey.
Yeah,
Both DPS really turning it up a lot of the time. Not to say any of the rest of the team are playing badly, but it is some very strong performances from those two DPS players. I'm particularly impressed by Ricey. He and his team unfortunately go down 0-2, but Ricey's somber play has been fantastic.
Ricey's somber play has been inspirational, is what it is. Those EMPs have been absolutely clutch and able to build up the ultimates so quickly. Also, keeping the enemy Sombra in check. That's a lot that is going on.
It's really it seems like a case of takes one to know one. He knows where Cannon wants to be. He knew where Cannon would want to place the translocators, and Cannon was constantly hacked. It's not a normal target you see, at least in some of my plat games. The Sombras might hack the Reinhardt that immediately gets healed up with an Ana and a Moira, but it's very smart play coming out from Ricey, hacking these squishies, waiting for Cannon to appear in the backline, then hack him, and then suddenly, you're caught out. You can't translocate out of there. So it definitely is rough. I believe we are going to be going to a quick break. But don't go anywhere. We do have Kaiju Corp up 2-0 against Frost Nova. Our next map is going to be Eichenwald. Are Frost Nova going to be able to come back into this one, or are Kaiju Corp's going to be able to complete the sweep? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Hyperion Cup. We are still in the end of week number 1 for the qualifiers, but Frost Nova up against Kaiju Corp. Buki, right now Kaiju Corp are looking pretty good. It's 2-0 in this series for Kaiju.
Yeah, Kaiju coming alive. Really coming out swinging for the first match of their season. They've looked really strong. I specifically want to point to Greg on the DPS, putting up a masterclass performance on the Reaper in that last map. And it's just really aggressive plays, aggressive positioning. They're really coming out strong. Frost Nova, they're unfortunately down 0-2. They looked a little lost in map 1, but I really think they did put together during Dorado. They almost managed to at least tie up that map, get to that 3rd point that Kaiju Corp had already capped in overtime, but they were just a little bit away. So very close map 2, which I think is really promising for a competitive Eichenwald.
Absolutely. And as we go to Eichenwald, this is our hybrid map for tonight. Spooky, what can you tell us about Eichenwald?
I think it's going to be interesting. Eichenwald, you can play a lot of different compositions. You can break out the double shield on a lot of the points, specifically first. You know, you can go to maybe more of a high ground divey style on the second. Then, of course, most 3rd points of escort hybrid maps, they do favor the Reinhardt. So a lot of different compositions, but I do think both of these teams have been using that kind of 6-man Winston battering ram comp, you know, the Winston Devo, Lucio Moira compositions. And I think those comps do work fairly well on Eichenwald. So I won't be surprised to see those break out, especially if you get to keep Ricey on the Sombra. He has been putting out a masterclass on that hero. Really a standout player for me.
Yeah, and of course, when we're talking about heroes to keep an eye out right now, I think Ricey and Greg, we highlighted them last time, but Ricey just did such a phenomenal job on that Sombra. Meanwhile, Greg, you know, a little bit of a mixed bag of which hero he was playing, but every single time he was more or less winning team fights for Kaiju Corp when effective.
Yeah, it is true. And to be fair, Kaiju has a very aggressive style of play. It split up Frost Nova and made it easier for Greg to potentially get some of those flanks off, get some of those Death Blossoms in the middle of them. So it might be kind of a team style, but it really does allow Greg and enable him. And if you're going to enable a hero, they have to be able to pop off, and Greg does do that. So we are going to see another swap coming in for Frost Nova. It's going to be Xeno on DPS in for Scarrow. I think Scarrow had a pretty good game on the Reaper. So I'm excited to see what Xeno comes out on. Maybe a more dedicated hit scan role or something similar. Again, this is the first time we have seen these two teams play in the Hyperion Cup. So we're about as in the dark as you are. So I'm incredibly excited to actually see some of these guys come out, and especially Xeno, who is now debuting for this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping that the same level of synergy between Ricey and Xeno can come through, because on the last map, Scarrow was always right there ready to follow up on Ricey's absolutely huge plays. You know, we hardly ever saw a moment where Ricey would let out one of those EMP and Scarrow was there to use a Death Blossom. And so, you know, let's hope that coordination continues, because Ricey gonna still remain on that Sombra for right now.
Yeah, and I think that's a good decision. With the limited information we have, Ricey slaps, he pounds, he's nuts, whatever you want to say. You know, I've seen one map of this guy, and I'm converted that he is the best Sombra in the Hyperion Cup right now, maybe in the world. This guy is something else entirely. So, I am
a little bit of a recency bias there, don't you think?
I don't know what that is. I'm definitely a Ricey stan, for sure. But on the other hand, his team is 0-2. So I really need to see some stellar plays from the entire team, following up on some of those opportunities Ricey might give. But right now, it is Kaiju coming out on the classic May Cowboy Rush comp, and they're just going to barrel their way straight to point, I'm assuming. It's up on this Pharah from Xeno to get enough damage in.
Yeah, Xeno just pelting in the rockets, has that Pharah pocket, but oh, Oh, you hate to see that happen. Lewis immediately falling down. Look at this, Frost Nova just lighting up that kill feed. No matter how many manual hacks you have, it's not going to be enough to stop an entire team, as that looks like this should be a pretty decisive victory right now for Frost Nova. Aiden falling extremely low. Gonna get demacked. Unfortunately, couldn't find the heals, but fear not. It's okay, because Frost Nova, they've completely stopped that offense.
Yeah, and a lot of that, I do believe, is the combination of Lewis's anti-nade and Xeno just putting in damage. There's really no one who can contest him. Aiden dying a little bit late. He's going for the reset to get his mech back, but I think this is committing his team to a 5v6 here, Marks. I do not think he's going to be back in time to fight this battle.
And we can see Glitch already on point here, just using the ice wall to completely isolate Frost Nova. Oh, gets the swinging air kill onto Florida. A little bit of style points for you right there, Glitch. Also taking out Lewis as well. Right now, Xeno's got this barrage. Gonna be letting that loose, but unfortunately, had the shield right in front of their face. Gonna kill themselves, take them out of the equation here. As right now, this is just Glitch just winning this out for Kaiju.
Yeah, I really do think part of that is the decision to try and get your mech back from Aiden, specifically because if Kaiju gets on point, you have to have done enough damage to get them off, because no one can stand up to the Reinhardt on Frost's composition. Like, you can't stand and fight there, and we saw that happen. You know, they capped the point where a couple members were still alive, the Bar of the Mercy. We do see the EMP coming out, so this could be Frost Nova getting back in, as another great EMP from Ricey is going to win them the team fight.
Yeah, Ricey basically showing us they're the hacker extraordinaire. Able to get so much value out of that EMP and just going to be sending all of Kaiju back. But Spooky, take a look at that ultimate bank that Kaiju are going to be engaging here with.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot, but for once, the Blizzard, which is in many cases, especially the Mirror, the most impactful ultimate, it's going to be a little harder to get value out of. You know, the Blizzard, the Shatter, these AoEs, you're not going to do much against a team that's so split up. So Kaiju are going to have to find good opportunities to use these ults. I am looking at the Deadeye, actually, to just take... it's not something you hear very often, but I could take the Deadly Sky duo out of the sky and clip their wings.
Well, Florida's got the lightning in a bottle on top of them. We're going to be seeing the amplification matrix come out, but that's going to be a Blizzard committed onto Florida, as well as a bomb. Everybody just pressing Q. It's going to be complete pandemonium on this point right now. Greg didn't really take out the air people with his Deadeye, but just going to use that Counter-Strike game right now, make it really work, as this looks like Kaiju Corp should be able to clean things up with a last pick onto Ricey. They've got a pesky Lewis in the background, but not much a single Ana can do to stop this right now. Aiden coming in to stall at the point, but it's such an uphill battle right now for Frost Novas. Kaiju just look so in charge of this right now.
And it's not like Frost Nova's playing bad. I don't think that's the case at all. The problem is a compositional difference here, Marks. They can't stand on point. So they have to win the fight. And you can see Kaiju just running their way forward to continue the pressure. But the point is that nobody has contested this entire time. The comp is not made to do that. So Frost Nova, they have to come up with something. They have to come up with big picks, or the cart's just going to keep rolling on forward. 4 minutes with like 20 meters to go.
Oh, that's an absolutely huge shot. They're going to find 3, and that's going to be Lewis taken out immediately. Glitch has got blood in his eyes, going to be taking out Cabadozo as well. Greg looking for that Pharah. Got a quick little reload, going to be pressuring back Ricey right now. Knows how dangerous that can be. Ricey able to escape with their life, but right now, Kaiju Corp just so in charge of things. We're going to be seeing the stall come in. The sound barrier gets canceled out. Unfortunately, Lewis not able to find any value out of that one, as Kaiju get a sound barrier of their own now. We're seeing the stall heroes come in, but Shannon's so deadly on this Mei. The kill feed is lighting up all Kaiju right now, and they're going to cap that one pretty decisively, Spooky.
Yeah, and it's so rough to see, you know, Ricey comes out with the EMP at the end there. Frost Nova had the ultimates. They just never were in position to use them. I think a couple things come back to bite them. One, their composition, but also... Kaiju's aggressive play is coming out again. When they feel themselves, they will push you directly into your spawn and they will keep you there. And that's how we saw Glitch get a big shatter off when, you know, just on point 2, I was talking about, you know, you're not gonna land these AoEs, Mark. But when they're coming out of spawn, you will.
Spawn, the greatest stroke of all time, but right now Kaiju feeling like a giant moth coming out of the water, making Frost Nova a little bit terrified. Frost Nova have an uphill battle to win out this map, even make it to that point number 3 here, with somewhat of an even competitive time bank, because, like you said, Spooky Kaiju, they hardly stopped on their offense there.
Yeah, and looking at the compositions now, if they both break out on these Reinhardt comps, I don't see a scenario where Frost Nova comes out with a better time. Just, like, even if they win every fight, Kaiju are going to be having that point presence that they weren't able to with their composition earlier. All in all, like, I don't want this to make it seem like Frost Nova's comp was a bad pick or they were playing it poorly. They just couldn't seem to get into position to actually follow up on the value. They get a couple of picks, but as the rest of the fight goes on, the cart's still moving. And that's the real problem with the composition. You have to win fights decisively. Hopefully they'll come up with something a little bit better on the rush comp, or they're going to be just losing this entire not the entire tournament, sorry, but losing the match 3-0.
Yes, Spooky, the entire tournament comes down to this. The pressure, the stakes have never been higher right now for Kaiju Corp to shut them out, but just kidding. This is only week 1. So still not necessarily a totally high pressure scenario, but still important. Xeno falling down, not what you want to see to start this off. Cannon on this Junkrat going on the flank now, just finds all of the nice and squishy members. Now they're going to be running them back. Greg finding a lovely little 2K, continuing to aggress forwards. This is that aggression we love to see coming out of Kaiju, and they're making this one work as they chase Frost Nova all the way back.
See the Cannon diff coming out a little bit, at least Cannon being on that Junkrat rather than the Mei. I personally am a huge fan of Mei in the rush comp. I don't think she should ever be taken out, but Cannon's making it work.
Yes.
Just pumping in enough damage, going on little flanks, getting around the shield, getting around Aiden's defense matrix, and just doing so much damage that once the fight actually engages, it's a huge advantage to Kaiju.
Yeah, look at that. The amplification matrix is going to come online, and Frost Nova say, you know what? We're actually good over here. And instead they camp that one out. Probably the wiser decision here. But now they've got their Lucio speed back online. Lewis getting a little bit lower, but now their aggression is going to be coming through. Lewis needs to catch up to the rest of the team, but Cannon finds a 2K with a Riptire. That might have just sealed the nail on the coffin once again for Frost Nova's attack. As we can see, Kaiju, they're aggressing forwards, and that means that they want to take this fight back to Frost Nova.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this reads to me like a little bit of miscommunication coming out from Frost Nova. You know, Lewis hadn't told them that he wasn't with them. The rest of the team pushed forward without their Baptiste, and by the time he was able to actually get into the fight and not have to lob those grenades from a distance, they had fallen to Can's Riptire, unfortunately. Frost Nova is swapping it up. They're trying to come out. They realize the rush comp isn't quite working. Swapping Ricey over to the Sombra might be their only chance, as they're into a composition they seem a little bit more comfortable with.
Yeah, Ricey gonna have to get a lot of value and charge up that EMP really quickly. Meanwhile, the front line is moving in. It looks like it's gonna be a full dive. Aiden committing the self-destruction in the back line. Doesn't find anybody. Gonna be met with a lot of ultimates coming out, but Felix, that's gonna be an easy 3K. That's gonna shut down Frost Nova. Again, Felix just being like, you know what, that was a nice little firework you sent off. Here's a bomb, and pressed Q right into the back line of Frost Nova. Kaiju, Spooky, this is looking like it's not going good for Frost Nova right now.
It really isn't, Marks. Kaiju are completely in control. They really do seem incredibly comfortable on this rush composition. It fits their aggressive playstyle, and it feels like Frost Nova's scrambling. They need to come up with something, but they don't even have the ultimate advantage here with less than a minute on the clock.
You're gonna see the sound barrier coming online. Ricey with an opening pick. Might be the start of something cool. Meanwhile, Xeno moving in on this Reaper, able to find more picks right now. This is looking like Frost Nova might be able to take this one back. The sound barrier is going to be coming in, but it's all for naught. Cannon able to take out Cabo Dozer, but right now Xeno just rocking around with these shotguns, an absolute menace on this point. The stall heroes are coming back right now, but Aiden gets the mech. Okay, Felix almost kept this one alive, but it looks like it's all too late as finally Frost Nova are able to cap with only 16 seconds left in their time bank.
Yeah, it's truly last minute. And, you know, they're happy to get the go. Actually, Kaiju, they're going for it.
They're going for this recontest. The tire is coming in here, gets taken out, unfortunately, but it's going to be a Death Blossom right there. Just getting so much value. Aiden also got the remech kill there, and, well, Frost Nova, they're keeping this one alive. Probably weren't expecting people to move in. So,
yeah,
they're going to keep moving forwards.
They went for it. I think that might be a theme as we watch this team through Hyperion Cup. Someone's going to be saying they went for it. I'm not sure if that was quite the winnable situation, but they were going to try it anyway. Definitely an aggressive team, and I am enjoying watching them. But now it's Frostnova actually pushing forward with the same amount of aggression here, Marks, and it seems to be working out for them.
Yeah, Frostnova basically holding up a mirror in front of Kaiju and being like, look, we can be as aggressive as you guys want to be, but Florida might have overextended as Glitch is going to find that pick right there. Now Kaiju feeling like they're in control of the situation a little bit more as they swarm over to the point, and Frostnova might have overextended their hands a bit.
Yeah, they do get pushed back, unfortunately for them, and they are going to be having to push into another aggressive defense coming out from Kaiju, and they have all the ultimates they need to make this work. The one thing that Frostnova have going for them is Ricey has the EMP. It should get a lot of value against the stacked up team, but there it is. That's a ginormous shatter coming in from Glitch.
Glitch.
4-time off the block.
Oh man, Greg was was just ready for that one. There's nothing you can do when half your team just hits the ground, and well, that was an absolute devastating Earth Shatter coming out from Glitch, stopping Frostnova as Frostnova have to rethink their strategy with only a minute left to push this thing all the way to the end of point number 2.
Yeah, and Ricey's had the CMP for a while. We've talked about how quickly he builds them up, but if you can't find a situation to use it, you're not going to build them up very quickly. He finally lays it down.
That's going to be an explosion in the background right now. The kills are coming through for Frostnova. Be just tickling down the rest of the members, and finally they're able to get a little bit momentum off the back of Ricey's EMP. They're going to be moving this one slow and steadily towards point number 2.
Yeah, but it is slow, Marks. The cart does not move quickly, and with only 25 seconds left, things are looking rough for Frostnova. They have this Coalescence, but that's not going to do squat against Cannon's Riptire. You'd wish Cabodozer maybe had the sound barrier or something, but once again, an aggressive push from Kaiju. They're coming out. They want to win this here and now with the Riptire.
All right, the Riptire is coming out online. Lewis using the Coalescence. Stalling out on point. We are into overtime right now. Xeno so close to that Death Blossom as well. Ricey got taken out. That's not who you want to see. And now the Deadeye coming out for Greg. Finds Xeno before he's able to do anything, but that's going to be a monkey pushing him into the drink right there. Fortunately, Lewis fell down as well. Sound Barrier going to be committed on the side of Kaiju. Florida up in the air. It's going to be just hanging out. He gets his jump back in time, but right now Kaiju are all over this point. The self-destruct being committed just to find that reback, but Felix almost got booted off the edge here. That's a 2K with that self-destruct, and Kaiju, they close this one out 3-0 up against Frostnova, Spooky.
Yeah, big bomb coming out from Felix at the end. She really puts the period on the sentence that was this entire match. But this really was Kaiju in control of Eichenwald. This rush composition seems very suited to their aggressive playstyle, and other teams in Hyperion Cup are going to have to be watching out because these guys are going to be pressing W and coming straight at your spawn. So definitely a great showing from Kaiju. Frostnova, not what you want in the first match, but we did see some moments of brilliance from them. And I'm excited to keep seeing how Frostnova continue to play, adapt, evolve going forward. This was only both of their first matches, a lot more of Hyperion Cup to go. But all in all, a 3-0 is not exactly what you want if you're a Frostnova fan. But I think they had some good showings. I'm excited to see both of these teams move forward.
I 100% agree. Obviously, Ricey looking so fresh on that Sombra. Just did so much work, which gives a very solid foundation for Frostnova to play around something. So there's a lot there was a lot of potential. There were sparks there where Frostnova looked so in charge of the point and so coordinated in attacking Kaiju. But once again, Kaiju just a little bit better. And well, like you said at the very beginning here, Kaiju going to get that 100% win rate. Well, unfortunately, Frostnova going to have that 100% loss rate just to start us out right now.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. But Marcus, we are going to pick a player of the match, and I do think a lot of people on Kaiju played together really well. You don't get an aggressive style like that unless you're all on the same page. But there was one player who really stood out to us in particular. It is going to be Greg, who is going to get our player of the match. He put on a great performance on that DPS role, specifically on the Reaper on Dorado, but he showed flexibility as well. on the Tracer, on the Symmetra, on the McCree. He never looked like the weak link on his
Even
team.
on Ash.
No, not that there was a weak link on this team, I'd say, but Greg definitely. I think he captured our hearts today.
Yes,
he captured
I
the
would
points.
agree.
He captured our hearts.
He captured the win too. Let's just throw that all in there. Well, stick around for a quick second. We are going to be going to a quick break while we queue up an interview with a member of Kaiju. We're going to try and get Greg on the line, but we'll see. We'll take whoever's going to be willing. So we're going to be throwing to a quick break, and we'll be back with an interview from Kaiju. See you guys in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. We had Kaiju Corp Clover going up against Frost Nova. Kaiju Corp Clover completely sweeping them away, winning out our series 3-0. And Spooky, we've got Greg on the line. Greg, how are you doing after such a decisive performance, might I say?
I'm feeling great right now. I'm really feeling quite good. I feel like everyone played amazing, and we're all really happy with how things went for us.
Yeah, the team definitely looked great. It did give us a little bit of trouble when we were choosing a player of the match. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we did pick you, Greg, especially with that dominant performance you put out on the Reaper on Dorado.
Thank you.
You won our hearts. I know the chat was very interested as well. Spam this egg to help out Greg, I believe was going for a while.
Thank you,
But I do want to ask, going back to the whole team synergy, you guys are incredibly aggressive. You guys are pushing forward. You're taking super strong defenses. You're just pushing your way to spawn whenever you can get the opportunity. Who's making the calls? Why is your team going like that?
We're going so aggressive because that's just kind of like how we want to play a lot of the time. We feel that like taking initiative is the best way to do things. So we want to try to play forward and take those aggressive fights. For the most part, the person who is like calling the engages is Glitch, our main tank. And I think he does a really good job with balancing those. Personally, I'm of the school of thought that if you ever release your W key, you're throwing. But he whispers me a little bit. He tells me, no, this is when we go in. So but we still are able to play pretty aggressive. I think he does a really good job with those calls.
Yeah, it absolutely seemed to work out for you. And as a Reinhardt main myself, I love to see it.
Always got to hold that W key. And I wanted to say, you guys were going up against Frost Nova, and Frost Nova had a couple of points where they were looking extremely good. But what was going on in some of your comms when that EMP Death Blossom combo just kept on hitting you guys? How did you adapt to that?
So a lot of it is just trying to mark the Sombra, make it harder for her to build EMP, and a lot of it is also just our solution to that on Dorado in particular, which is where I feel like they were having the most success with it, was honestly just we made a lot of comp swaps to try to figure out exactly what it was that would let us get through that. And I think eventually we found that just like going in with brawls and playing fast worked pretty well for us. So eventually we were able to figure it out. It did really take us a while though. They played that comp really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Greg, thank you so much for being here. I have one more question for you. I know it's early in the season, it's early in the Hyperion Cup, but after putting out a dominant performance today, I'm curious, is there anyone you're really looking forward to playing against next?
You know what? I'm going to be honest, I have not looked nearly enough into our opponents yet. But no matter what, I'm confident that I'm going to come out and I'm going to put down a great performance. Everyone on my team is going to put down great performances. There's no one in this tournament that I think we can't beat. I think we win all of these.
Love the confidence. Absolutely.
It's going to be great. And once again, tell your team congratulations from us. And congratulations to you, Greg, for getting our MVP for today. But you got any last words for the viewers, Greg?
Yeah, thanks for all of the love and support. I appreciate everyone who was spamming eggs.
All right. Thank you so much, Greg. And thank you, the viewers, for tuning in to the end of week 1. This has been the group stage for the Hyperion Cup. Spooky, we saw some pretty fun Overwatch today. You got any concluding thoughts for us tonight?
It's like you said, fun Overwatch. Kaiju Corp and Greg, coming out very strong, an aggressive play style, kind of cementing their place closer to the top of the bracket. So I'm going to be excited to see them, see if they can continue that dominance. On the other hand, Frost Nova, unfortunate debut, but I saw moments of brilliance from them, especially like we were talking about earlier on that Reaper Sombra composition they were running on Dorado. These guys have talent, and I want to see them continue to improve as we move forward in the competition. But it's only week 1. There's a lot more Overwatch to come through this Hyperion Cup.
Absolutely. So make sure that you are following the channel so you can be alerted whenever another game is happening. Of course, this has been Marks alongside Spooky. We've been produced and observed tonight by Oakley, who has also been in charge of organizing everything. So thank you so much for having us. But that's going to wrap it up for week number 1 of the group stages. We've got a lot more Overwatch games coming for you guys later on this week in this group stage. It's going to be super exciting as these teams go into their second map, not just their first, man. And it's going to be great. So make sure to stick around. But for now, have a good night, everyone, and thank you for tuning in.